I'm Anil Kumar sharing with you test problem on inverse of function. Well, my recommendation is that if you have difficulty in understanding this question, you should go through my playlist on inverse function, understand the concept, come back to this question, and then see my solution. The question here is, consider the function f of x equals to 2 to the power of x and g of x equals to absolute x. State the domain and range for the sum of the inverses, that is f inverse of x plus g inverse of x. So we need to find domain and range of sum of their inverses. What we can do is we can graph it. I'll prefer to graph and show you the solution so that's like visual and be easy for you to understand. F of x equals to 2 to the power of x is a function which is kind of like this, right? Now, if you have to sketch the inverse of this function, you can always do it by reflecting it on a line which is y equals to x, right? So when you reflect it on this line, the function which you get will be, now it is horizontal asymptote, so when you reflect it, you get a vertical asymptote as y-axis, and then you can kind of get a function like this, right? So that becomes inverse of our function. So this is f inverse of x. Let us also sketch the inverse of absolute x. Absolute x function will be kind of like this, right? Now if you have to reflect it on y equals to x, this part is common, invariant, right? So it will be all along the same line, and here this gets reflected like this. Let me use the ink which I used last time, that is like this. So that becomes the inverse of my absolute x. So this is inverse of, I should write g, right? So inverse of gx. Now from here it is very clear what is their common domain and range. So as you can see, the common domain is x should be greater than 0, right? Here it is greater than equal to 0, right? So from here we can state domain and range for sum of the inverses. When we have sum, we have to add on common domain. So the domain of inverse should be equal to x belongs to real numbers where x is greater than 0, right? How about range? So the range for this function we're talking about, sum of the inverse function now, is all real numbers, right? There is no restriction on range, so f of x or y belongs to real numbers. So that is how you can get common domain and range for inverse of the functions, right? I hope that helps. Thank you and all the best.